Hello, friends. My name is Daniel, and I'd like to tell you a story. Back in the old days. Now, I came from Israel, but I hardly remember anything about Israel because, as a child, Israel was conquered by another country. And I was taken from my country, from my family, and taken to this new land. It was terrifying. And they decided that I should go to school. So I did. And being in school, I tried my best. And I was doing very well in the school. And I had 3 friends that had also been taken from Israel. And we tried to remember the things about Israel so we would not lose connection to where we had come from, because it was very important to us. Now, the people in this new land, Babylon, they had different ways of thinking about things. They had different rules for lots of things. Many of those rules I was okay with. It was different from what I was used to, but it was okay. So I just went ahead and went along with most of them. But there was one I just couldn't do it. It had to do with food. I had always eaten kosher, a certain way of thinking about food that doesn't allow for certain kinds of food to be eaten or certain foods with other foods and so on like that. It was very important to me. And so I didn't want to eat the way they wanted me to eat because of my religious feelings, how I felt about God. And I believed only in one God. And so I wanted to follow that God's rules on how to eat. And so this was very tricky because here I am. I have almost no rights. I'm just a kid, and my 3 friends are backing me up, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But, what am I going to do? Well, I took my problem to the guard, the one who was supposed to be giving me my food. And I'd already made friends with him. I'd always been nice to him. And I tried to do everything I could to make him believe that I was trying to be a good student, which I was. And I told him my problem. And he said he couldn't do it. He said, well, no, we can't do that because if you guys end up getting all thin and sick, then I'm going to be in trouble. In fact, they might cut off my head. And I said, I'll tell you what. Why don't we just have our 4 people just eat water and vegetables instead of all the fancy food that everybody else gets? And he said, okay. For a week. And after a week, well, my friends and I were the healthiest looking folks in the whole place. And so it worked out. So you need to be blooming where you're planted. Wherever God puts you, well, that's where you're supposed to be, and you're going to have to work it out there. But there are some things that are important to you and important to your belief in God that you can't give up. And so when you come to one of those things, it's all right to take a stand. Do so wisely.